All right, Ghostbusters fans, welcome to Aaron's Tech Corner. And today we're going to dive into modding our life-size Spirit Proton pack. And what I'm going to do today is kind of walk through some basic attachment of the Hasbro 1984 wand, which is this guy here, to the Spirit pack. So the Hasbro wand actually is a 1984 wand is really nice. It's got a lot of sounds and lights and just a much better feel and everything than the Spirit wand, which I mean makes sense. It's half the price of the whole Spirit pack, and it actually comes with one of these little adapters that allows you to screw this in and actually attach like a hose loom to this, and that's what I'm going to do. I've got some of this 3/4 inch split. Well, it's not split loom. This is just non-split. You can buy this on Amazon for like $10, but that'll slip into there, and then we can attach that to our pack. So the first thing you're going to need to do on your Spirit pack, which I've either going to have to cover in a previous video or somebody else has probably covered it, is take the back of this guy off. And let's see, if I go up and look at what I've got already, you can kind of see this is the backing material for both the padding and this backing. And to get that off, just the simple 5-second thing is you slowly peel this piece off of the back, and it's hot glued in, so just be really careful. Use like a little prying tool. Don't want to rip this. And then once that is off, this backer board here, I'm going to put this back on for fun. This backer board is just sitting in there like that, and it unscrews with 6 screws. The straps will be in there, so when you kind of peel this back, you'll be able to flip this open, and then you'll be able to unscrew the straps up here and take those off and see the really not very well installed straps. I'm going to actually build some 3D printed parts to reinforce those, because I don't think those will hold. Other people said they haven't held, so yeah. So once you get in, there's not a whole lot going on inside here, right? It's pretty empty shell. I already unscrewed a few things, which is why some things might be a little crooked or loose, just to kind of show off. But the factory electronics are really simple. You've got your battery pack here, and then down here you've got your light boards, and this board actually here has the microcontroller on it that runs the whole show, and then up the power cell lighting board as well, and then this connector goes off to the wand. And so what I've done is I've actually taken these little light boards out, which is why they only have 1 screw in there, and then just kind of did some probing on this connector to figure out what is going on. Now the 2 center pins in this, the black and the white, if you jump those together, the pack powers up. If you jump them together again, then the pack powers down. So that's the equivalent of this on-off button here. Basically, that's what the on-off button's doing. And then you've got the other wires, which are the red and orange. So if you jump the red to the white wire, that's the slow blow or the trigger. And then the orange wire would be the LED that lights up in the tip there when you fire. So that would be like a 5-volt output, along with that ground, that white wire ground. I know they didn't use red for power, and they didn't use black for ground. They just wanted to make things fun and confusing. And then of course has the speaker output, and then the output to the other LED board, and then the output to the power cell LED. So what I'm going to do, just to kind of cut this short so we're not just going long-winded, is I'm going to take this connector off and then take the wand completely out, kind of just non-destructively, right? So I can just keep this if I ever want to plug it back in. And then what I'm going to do is then I'm going to make a new connector that goes in here and just have a little, basically just a button wired up somewhere, and probably hide it on the pack on the back or somewhere that I can just use to turn the pack on and off. So I just get the cyclotron lights and the actual power cell lights going. They won't be controlled by the wand. And then ultimately what I want to do later on with the wand is pass the audio. I'll actually modify this wand and to have it take audio out and put a better speaker in the pack. And that way all the gun sounds go into the pack. So now, right now when you fire the gun and everything, it'll just be the speaker on the Hasbro one making all that. But the pack will still have its little speaker that it can, you'll hear the pack power up and down with the Spirit sounds. But I'm trying to do this just kind of like this is what you got. It's super cheap to do this. You can lash these up, and that way you don't have to really do any destructive modifications or spend a whole lot of money on electronics, because there are other kits you can do, and you will spend a couple $100 modifying that wand and this pack and everything. And that's cool. That's what you want to do. That'll get you a lot more functionality, because then like your cyclotron lights will speed up and power cell light and all that. We'll do that with the gun. But I'm going to find a couple ways to do things and maybe do my own Arduino pieces. I don't know. We'll get there. But let's just dive into this. Quickly, what you want to do is, this has hot glue on it originally, so just take that off, just scrape it, grab it with a pair of needle nose pliers, and then just pull this. This is a JST PH connector. It's 4-pin. So, and you just pull that off, right? And now it looks like we've got a couple more screws to take off. We've got to take this one off, and I've already loosened this up a little bit. So yeah, if we take the screwdriver, that is loosened right up. Okay, so that the loom is out now, and then let's peel this hot glue back. Get in here and just kind of peel that back. That's on there. Let's just pull. Okay, and then we'll unscrew this thing as well. They use a lot of hot glue, which is nice because, they want to make sure that this doesn't all fall off, like when you go playing around with this or shipping. Okay, now the wires, they're just kind of tucked in here. So we just kind of gently work these out of here. And maybe not so gently. I'm sorry, let me get in there, because that hot glue is holding that in. So you got to kind of yank it a little bit. You can see some of the glue came off. So if you ever want to reverse this back, you'd put this in there and just grab your hot glue gun and dab more in there. Okay, so now look at that. That is off. So now we should be able to just lift this up, because it's got a peg that it sits on right there, right? So after we lift that up, that should just pull right out. Boom. There we go. We have freed ourselves of the Spirit full-size wand, which, for what it gave us, it's not bad. But that 84 wand, man, that's so nice. So there you go. There's that. So now what am I stuck with here? I've got a hole. I may have to enlarge that hole. And if I do, I'm going to make a 3D printed bracket to do that, because I don't want to drill into this thing if I don't have to. Because, if you look, the loom there, the corrugated tubing, it's smaller on the Spirit than it is on the Hasbro. So that will be the next step, is probably just making something, because that's just not going to fit through that hole. You can kind of see, like, you might be able to cut it and crush it and all that. But I think I might just make a nice little adapter here for that. And then the idea is then we will lash this up to the Hasbro wand using their loom adapter, and we will go from there. So I'm going to cut back when I come back with my next step, but thanks for watching. All right, here we are back. So if you've noticed, what I've done is I've taken this 3/4 inch loom and I've actually just worked it through that hole. It's actually not bad. You just kind of crush it a little bit and just pull, 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 pull. And it fits in there and it's nice and snug. Not going anywhere. And this is a lot more flexible than the original, like a lot more. So here's that Hasbro piece. So we just slip that on there and just kind of pull it up. I use a little pair of needle nose pliers to kind of pull it up over the prongs, but once it's in there, it's on there really good, and this kind of swings freely, which is nice. So now I will show you we can attach this to our gun, but first we need to secure this in here. So really a good thing to do is just kind of make this pulled past this peg a little bit, right? Then just kind of push this down a little bit. So what that does now, and we're going to grab it and rotate it, is that has made a nice little dent. And what that dent allows us to do is to have a place to put a hole. So the factory one had a small hole on top and a big hole on bottom. So let's start with the small hole but go all the way through. And we're going to be really careful. We don't want to run ourselves through here, but we're going to take this power drill here, and I'm going to kind of zoom out here. So I'm going to take this drill here, and this is a 3/16 bit. I am just going to just very ever so slightly drill a hole in both sides of that loom. Okay, so now I've drilled this hole on both sides. That gives me a place for the screw to go through and grab on the top, but a little bit of a pilot hole in the bottom. And then I am going to switch to a bigger, and this is a 5/16 inch bit, and I'm going to drill a much larger hole in the bottom there. Just be careful because this stuff just kind of shreds up a little bit. There you go. All right, not perfect, but it doesn't really need to be perfect. It just has to hold into the peg. So we flip it back around, and we kind of push it through the peg. There we go. So it is through the peg. I'm going to use this little screwdriver to kind of clean up this hole a little bit so I can see where I need to be. It looks like it's hard for me to tell, but I'm going to do this by feel. So I'm going to take this little black retaining screw that we had originally, and I'm going to stick that in here. And I'm just going to kind of look down in here and just see. There we go. Kind of do it by feel here, hopefully. Maybe. Sorry, it's going to take me a while. It's kind of just like diving in here by feel. Oh, get that back up so where you can see it. Okay, I'm kind of holding that in. And I'm just going to screw this down until it grabs the loom. There we go. Look at that. It's retained. Okay, so that's awesome. We don't have any wires at all. Like I said, eventually I'm going to run wires through that and run auxiliary out of my wand in the pack, and then I can put a speaker in here. My fun thing is I'm going to put a speaker in this in filter. So let's put this other black retaining screw back in here. Just so we never lose it, right? Because if we ever want to go back to the factory, we want to leave that there. That's just a wire retainer. And we can use that to retain wires later. Okay, so now, moving on. Hasbro side of the fence. All right, I'll come on out. We'll zoom out a little bit. Not really zoomed here, so we will take the Hasbro wand. And we are gonna, yep, batteries packs in there. So we're just gonna slip this over the end and screw that in. And this has that nice retaining mechanism. So we are going to then just give this some quick attachment. All right, look at that. Now I have a Spirit pack with a Hasbro wand. All right, so we got to put everything back together, and my shell is kind of messed up because, not messed up, but it's in a state of repair because I'm modding it out, right? Not just doing this, but now I wanted to just kind of zip all these straps out of the way just so someone can see this here. All right, let's prop that up like that. Okay, so there's the pack. And here is where the hose goes in. But now we have our hose attached to our Spirit pack. And of course, then we can fire this baby up. And obviously the next step is going to be getting those cyclotron lights and everything working, and I'm going to show you how I make that connector here right after this. All right, so next up we're going to wire up a basic switch to be able to turn the Spirit pack on and off now that the Spirit wand is no longer attached. So what I decided to do is I'm going to put a switch right here on the ion arm, kind of like the whole switch me on switch that they alluded to in the original Ghostbusters, or later on there actually is a switch. But to do so, what we're going to do is take this ion arm off. So if first thing we do is you actually unscrew. There are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 screws. And then, but before you do that, just drill a quick hole in there, all the way through both pieces. That's for the wires to pass through. You can use about a 1/4 inch. But then to be able to take this off, the PPD also has to come off. So you have to unscrew, it's this guy right here from the inside, and take that off. So once you get the PPD off, then you can take and unscrew. There is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 screws here to take this front panel off. And I drilled a 1/4 inch hole in there, and this is for my switch. And what I'm using is just a momentary toggle. So it kind of looks like a regular toggle, but it doesn't toggle one way or the other. It bounces back immediately. So like this. That way it emulates the push button, like on the Spirit one, when you pushed it in, turn it on, you pushed it in, it turned it off. So on this one, you would just do the same thing, like push it, turn it on, push it, turn it off. So I've soldered this up. This is something, I don't know the part number for this because I literally have this in my toolbox for like 15 years. So essentially then what we'll do is we'll just mount the switch into this hole, run the wires through, and then once the wires are all through, we will crimp a connector on the end of this guy to mate up with the original JST PH connector. So I will do that now. All right, and completing the Hasbro 1984 wand install, I am going to show you the switch that I just got done installing. So here is the switch I put on here. I just drilled that 1/4 inch hole, put that guy in there, and that's that momentary toggle. And you can see that when you flip it on this way, the system powers up, just like the button on the old Spirit wand. And if you tap it again, it shuts off. If you go the other way, it doesn't do anything because I didn't wire up that side of it, but it's being momentary, so this actually works just basically, it's like a button. And then if we want to go back into the back side so we can see kind of how we did it all, let's take a quick look. And here you can see the wiring coming through the hole there, and then I've zip tied it to the power cell lights, and this is just 2 wires. And then I built that custom JST connector that I was talking about earlier. So that's just a standard JST PH, and then you just basically use the inside 2 terminals there. The outer terminals you don't need, because those ones, like I say, one's for an LED, and then the other one is for the actual firing sequence on the original wand, which we're not using since we don't have the original wand. But this way, the electronics are basically independent of the Hasbro wand, but now you have, you know, at least basic pack lights to go along with the wand. And again, we'll do another follow-up series of videos when I actually get some auxiliary out and put a speaker in here and run sound into the pack from the wand, and maybe even figure out how to do upgraded lighting later on in the future. But I hope that helps you guys out, and that you can see how easy it is to do this for the most part, and that it looks so much better and so much more functional than the one that came with it. All right, thanks for watching. Have a great one.